Alright, now I had mentioned in the previous introduction video that this was a special party. We had special attitudes, special heads on our shoulders. This was a special campaign. So, you have like Twisted Party plus Twisted Campaign, ultra twisted playout. And I was DMing with the attitude that this is going to be our story, players and the DMs joining together. And I had planned that today was going to be the day where we reveal the twist. Now, our alchemist couldn't make it this day, and she has traveled as far from the Bronx, and I said, okay, that's fine. We could work with that. The remaining 5 of us, or whatever, had shown, and I actually had everyone introduce themselves to each other, because, how else do you start these campaigns? And, they thought, like, what is this, like Alcoholics Anonymous? And I explained that we were all at a wedding together. Now, these were rich, endowed, demigod-like characters, again, level 16, and just to recap, you had Alchemist, multi-class Geokineticist, Time Thief, you had your Cleric, you had your Witch, and you had a Druid. And, again, Alchemist was the one missing. Now, I explained we were all at a wedding together for the local land baron, Televisio, and Televisio is a weirder name, like Tele relating to another place, and Visio, which is vision. Sure, it might be important later. Anyway, the wedding of the local land baron, Televisio, and I had explained that Televisio was a man who had come to power during the time of troubles, who had risen and culminated his own local power, and that the local witch Lillian had played a large role in this along with Tim the Alchemist. Now, since the time of troubles had just recently closed and all it seemed magic had reappeared in the material planes, it had seemed that goblin hordes were beginning to rise, and of course the local alchemist, Tim King, his character's name was King, his alchemist was playing a role in leading the goblin tribes against this secretly. Now they were going to double-cross that tribe and cash in with a huge bonus, work with and against Televisio. This is great because you're playing with evil party members. They were totally like, okay, yeah, down to do this. And now, Tim was to be kind of sacrificed during the wedding, and Lillian was there to figure out a way to get King's body from out of sacrifice. Lillian was a little amazed because King has always been a goblin who has a trick up his sleeve, and he's seeming woozier, and like something has actually been manipulated and strange about it. It's like he's been poisoned. This helps. You got to play her out of the game, and I think it's a great time to have them play a plot role by becoming the object of the plot themselves. You're out of town, buddy. You become, this will become a thing. But so the party was at the wedding, and during services, Televisio was sitting there, and Jerry was the cleric administering the wedding. Jadri, who was playing a Samstran, happened to be a cousin of this far-off exotic bride that Televisio is marrying, and Chris was a longtime friend of the bride, and the druid Mike was, her partner or whatever. So everyone was set, and Jerry was giving services, and, Jerry, Odin, I was like, you reach into your pockets, and he's like, what pockets? Because he revealed that he didn't even have any armor. Odin hadn't bothered to buy any armor with his huge gold stash before the game. He was actually sad, I'm naked. I was like, no, dude, you're not a naked cleric administering a wedding. You have robes, at least. So I gave him robes, and you became glad for this later. Because, again, I said this is the campaign with freaking twists. Spend your gold. It's not like you might get gold. You might be teleported to a weird dimension. But nah, okay, so Jerry, the non-naked, robe-wearing cleric, said, try to reach into your pocket to pull out the ring, because it's an unusual ceremony. There is no ring bearer. The only lad is like sitting in the pews. It's kind of weird. And Jerry, like, Odin goes immediately like, oh, well, and Odin in real life assumes that his character had lost the ring, which I think is funny. Like, I never said that you had the ring or anything. Like, if you're ever role-playing, whatever. So Televisio, of course, begins going into a fury. Where's the ring? You're ruining the wedding, yada yada. And this is where Alex, role-playing Lillian, stands up and goes, aha, because Lillian, of course, has to be a jewel crafter. And he's like, I can make you a ring. And Alex is great because he's speaking this, like, Ponzi bad British role-playing accent. Very proudly playing an endowed, magical, evil tiefling female. Oh yeah, he's a tiefling, by the way. He got like evil devil horns and shit like that, but I think he's in disguise or something. And Televisio's like, oh, Lillian, of course you can come to my rescue, and he's all like, for a price, of course. And Televisio is like, oh, you've always assisted. Object is no adjust. They have this like long negotiation, blah blah blah. And Lillian's like, yes, I'll go make a ring right. I slice up the bride's fingers, and I'm as a DM, I'm like, what? You just have like a jewel crafting kit on you that you brought to this wedding? 'Cause that's a weird thing to bring to a wedding. So Alex is like, yeah, they carry this around on me all the time. I'm like, okay, fine, cool, whatever. So he decides, he is going to make the bride a new ring, and Televisio strangely says, ah, yes, okay, great, we're just gonna hold the wedding ceremony right here so we can complete things. And Lillian begins to cast teleport to go back to his dimension. He didn't understand. Alex didn't get it. I was trying to make him go back to his teleport, and Lillian doesn't like to walk. What I'm saying is teleportation is cast. The second the teleportation is cast, instantly the magic fizzles. It's as if the time of troubles is reignited somehow. A piece of it was brought, and 2 gateways are open to a strange dimension, and goblins spill out. Goblins! This is great. This is where rogues enter the scene, and Chris goes like, everyone who's... JG is the one who stands up and goes, everyone who's able to fight, get ready to fight. And strangely, only 5 people in the room stand. The rogue draws a dagger, and the druid intelligently turns into a bee, a fucking bumblebee. Okay, whatever. And like Alex stands and like, haha, goblins, okay. And the goblins start, it's just like goblins spilling out of a portal. Again, level 16 party, goblins, whatever. And this makes, and Televisio is like, god damn it, King, because he's blaming King, who's the passed out alchemist, and kicks the cage, and King's like, and like, again, Lillian's a little perturbed. I keep throwing like wisdom and perception checks, like it's strange to you that King won't wake up. And Alex goes, okay, whatever, and like, starts to cast like supple strength sucky thing on the goblins pouring out of the portal. Okay, I don't know if you normally play Pathfinder, I don't know if you experience this, but in my experience playing any type of tabletop, goblins are always goblins, man. Like, there's usually like one epic goblin king, goblin warrior, or something like that, but goblins like that throwaway creature at the beginning of Baldur's Gate just as part of the tutorial of the game, I'm not really trying to kill them with these goblins. They cast like all these like, spells of strength suck that'll kill a goblin over 6 rounds. As if the goblin's gonna stand for 6 rounds. You can throw a brick at a goblin, that'll kill it. And Odin casts his ring of telekinesis to try to throw a goblin. Like, Odin thinks he can be like Jean Grey, so you'll see he becomes a thing, that's fine. And there's some stabby and stuff. Chris just straight up walks up to one of the goblins and picks him up, and he's all kicking and screaming, and he's all like, what are you here for? What's your mission? And the goblin's like, I am here to, I'm confused, and I'll explain if you, and Mike is like, I'm a bee, I sting it, and like, the goblin's in the middle of talking, and Mike has to jump in to sting the goblin in the ear, and the goblin's like, aye, because he got interrupted and shit. This will happen a lot throughout the campaign. And it was like, Mike, wait, he was confessing, hold on. They did wind up killing all the goblins after the goblins explained that they were confused. Like, Alex picked up one and did this weird hair death stare thing. And the goblin's like, we're sad, we don't understand, we were supposed to be somewhere else. Ah! And then they killed it. Like, Alex is like, okay, you've been useful, thank you. And the goblin died, and so the Televisio was like, oh god, shit, guys, like, it's ruined my wedding, and they think maybe they have my ring. I don't know. You should go through the portal and, figure out what the hell's going on. I'll pay you a hefty fee. Everyone to go. I order you to go. I'll pay you. Yeah, all the people were like, yeah, that's right, you'll pay us, bitch. And like, they jump through the portal, and they emerge on the other side. And, they realize, it's weird, the room is strange, and the geokineticist picks up immediately. The walls aren't made of stone, they're made of a sheer metallic alloy, a strange metallic alloy she's never seen before. It actually seems hard to manipulate, and what they see are like flowing currents of energy through these devices and things like that. And they look up, and what do they see but the worst thing, the worst threat to a party's progress? Almost every party finds this most worst adversary to get in the way possible. They find a door. And I promise beyond this door is the twist that made this campaign so special to me and us. But right now, what they're encountering is this door, and they find a strange metallic panel next to the door with the controls, and they hear behind the door hissing, howling, like an undead scream from another world. And I promise again, next week will be the reveal of why this campaign was so special to me and us and Twisted, why they should have been prepared, and some were, and this got kinky.